Hi.
Hi, do I look okay?
You look great.
That's the most important thing.
Okay.
Not to be too Scarlett O'Hara, but how do I look?
So our book was Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
Why did you select this book as a significant book to you as a high schooler?
I read this book actually in middle school. And I just remember thinking, there's no possible way I will like this book. And I absolutely loved it. I think it was one of those, like, it was on a list of choices, that we could pull from. I never would have chosen it for myself. But I just remember being really wrapped up in Scarlett O'Hara and thinking that there were some things that I learned from her to do, and then some, like, what not to do.
Have you ever reread the book?
No.
Yeah,
But
the
I
monstrosity
have seen
it
the movie
is.
multiple times.
Right.
And I do love the movie as well.
Why do you think that this book would still matter to young people today?
I don't know that it would matter to young people today, but I am a strong believer in cultural literacy, and I do still think getting references like who's Scarlett O'Hara, and Scarlett and Rhett and their relationship and how kind of iconic it is, and tumultuous. And so I do believe that it's important when people see like more modern films or read modern literature, that they get those connections between this iconic couple. I don't know, I think that's kind of cool.
Can you remember a favorite scene, character, or moment from the book?
Well, one of my favorite sort of mottos of Scarlett's was, I'll think about it tomorrow. That idea that, don't get so worked up about it now, like there's always tomorrow. And of course, I remember the scene where she dresses up, she goes to a dance. I forget, what was the husband's name? Not Charlie. She married
It's Charles, yes.
Charles, yes. And he dies. And she goes to a dance, and she wears like it's just the most fabulous black dress that she can find. And I just remember that thinking like, wow, you are a diva. I didn't have a word for diva then, but just thinking like, wow, you are just gonna do you.
What types of books do you like to read now?
Now, I don't get a chance to read that many books, to be honest, but I love a good story. I do not like science fiction. I don't like fantasy. I prefer like good creative nonfiction, even like a good true story that's told in a literary way.
Right.
I just recently read The Goldfinch, which was one of those. It was another big giant book that had all these like multiple threads. But yeah, I typically would not read a period piece.
What other books did you consider recommending for this project?
I also recommended a completely different book called Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I thought about recommending Forever by Judy Blume, which is like total young adult fiction. So this was completely different. Also Catcher in the Rye, classic kind of J.D. Salinger stuff, but I feel like that's in the curriculum, so I don't think I put that one down.
For one more tacked on question, because it says I can add on one.
Yeah.
What were your feelings on the end of the book? Because I've gotten lots of mixed opinions.
You have to remind me what happens at the end.
So basically, she gets over Ashley. She's finally over him, and she's like, okay, Melanie has died and everything, and she's like, but you know what? I love Rhett. I'm gonna tell him that I love him.
Right.
And he says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's too late.
And finally, this character development.
She's like, I'll get him tomorrow. Isn't that,
basically, that's the end. Yeah.
Okay, so I do remember that. The other thing I remember really liking is like how she had a head for business. Like she was really smart. But yeah, I just figured she's gonna get him. Like that's how it's gonna end. She put him through so much. But it's like, yeah, like you can't, back at him. I'll get back at this tomorrow, or kind of like you can't win them all. She's moving right along. Strong female.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.